Hello guys, this is Maeglin and here I have a replay that was sent to me by Excal. It is a 1 versus 1 match in Rohan and Excal is playing against Tyrion Lannister, which I'm not sure who this guy is, but Excal has told me that it was a very nice 1 versus 1 match, and it was definitely worth seeing. Now, Excal has also told me that he had played many games with this guy Tyrion Lannister, all of them 1 versus 1, and all of them were very interesting. There were very close games on who was going to win, and of course the resources are 1k, and you can see here Excal is goblins and he is starting with 1 barrack and 1 farm, and Tyrion Lannister is dwarves. And he is starting with 1 barrack, 1 farm as well, and he's sending both his builders to capture those ruined towers in order to see further. Look at how big Tyrion's view is now. He can literally see half the map with those 2 ruined towers being captured, and I'm not sure if he did see that his opponent is goblins, and that's why he exited his builder, but probably this is because he already has 2 units of guardians and he has already loaded them into a farm and he wants to upload them and start attacking. Of course, his first power point will be rallying call. Yes, he has chosen it already, and I think Excal is going to need is definitely going to need the bats in order to cancel that leadership, and of course he is uploading any units he has right now in order to defend his base against those guardians. Remember, 2 guardians on rallying call can do great damage and they can probably take down both of Excal's barracks, but here Tyrion is targeting his farm first and he's doing a great job with his 1 unit holding back those goblins and the other one attacking Excal's buildings. So a very good start for Tyrion. He definitely will take down both barracks of Excal, and of course he did take down his farm, but as you can see Excal was deleting his buildings, so he did got half his resources back. But again, this is a major win for Tyrion early in the game. And like I told you, being dwarves requires you playing very aggressively, and here Tyrion does plays aggressively and he does manages to take down most of the buildings by Excal. So Excal is kind of behind in this match at the first minutes of this match, but he has already made 1 barrack somewhere in the top right corner of the map, and he also is making a second one in his base, and he has already a spider holes expansion in his fortress, so he will be able to defend that barrack a lot better. And I think the fact that Excal is able to make so many structures so fast, and also those upgrades in his fortress, are because he has already captured these outposts that generate extra resources, where Tyrion Lannister already hasn't captured any of those outposts yet. So this is why, because yes, and here you can see how good this spider holes expansion is for defending your base. You can see Excal did manage to save his barracks, of course barely, but he did save it, and he will be able to produce a couple, maybe 3 more units before Tyrion Lannister destroys that. But you can see Tyrion is playing very aggressively. He is already destroying that second base that Excal had made at the top right corner, and he's playing very nice with dwarves. I'm not sure how he is doing on resources. Both players are around 400 and 500, and I'm not sure what they have already clicked on their fortress. Perhaps Tyrion has already clicked on glowing to come, and probably Excal doesn't have any definitely doesn't have any hero's weight coming, and I don't think he has a spider pit anywhere in the map, so it's just those barracks. He plans to spam some goblins, and it will be obviously a good choice early in the game, but for later in the game he will definitely need some spider riders to be able to defend against any guardians better, but also against any battle wagons that Tyrion might send to him. And let me say, up to this point, Excal is also playing very nice. You can see he is destroying any buildings that Tyrion is trying to destroy, so he's getting most of his resources back. And in the meantime, he is moving his builders around, he is making some farms, and of course he does have 3 barracks. He has those spider holes expansion, which now he has a second one, and he will be able to defend his base a lot better now. But you can see Tyrion is planning to play with some battle wagons. Of course, I have told you this before, battle wagons are absolutely necessary when you are running out of options, and here Tyrion did make a nice start, but you can see how goblins gain more power as time passes by. And I'm amazed that Excal still hasn't destroyed that first farm that Tyrion made to attack his base. And of course Excal will want to destroy that forge works, and he will Tyrion does uses his hill structure in order to maintain his forge works and create his first battle wagon, which will obviously help him a lot defend. Look at how fast this battle wagon will kill those goblins here. Remember, battle wagons are probably the best cavalry unit against infantry units, except spearmen of course. It does kill them very fast, and it also levels up very fast, and besides that it is amazing against structures. So yes, since Excal knows that his opponent is playing with a battle wagon and he will probably make some more, he knows that he must make a spider pit, and I think that probably his first units will be a couple of spiderlings, which are probably the best unit to defend against battle wagons, since spiderlings are the fastest unit of the game, and they can catch up with the battle wagon and start hitting it from behind. And they also cost only 300, so it's the best way to defend. But I'm not sure if Excal will manage to save his spider pit here, since Tyrion is attacking it hard with one unit of guardians and of course his battle wagon. And Excal was very fortunate here. His spiderlings did a good job. Remember, those spider holes expansion in your fort is probably the best defensive mechanism, maybe besides the fear statues by the Mordor fort. But they do an amazing job, and also if and when Excal has the tainted land recharged, you can use the tainted land around your fortress, and those spiderlings gain leadership and do more damage. So Excal is switching from defense to offense, and he hasn't produced any spiderlings yet, which I am a little surprised. If you are planning to make a spider pit, you best want to use it fast. But here Excal does have a lot of goblins, and he will take down most of the buildings in Tyrion's base. And you can see here the main disadvantages when you are playing with dwarves, because you can pretty much play your best game and corner your opponent, but even then with one single attack by 4, maybe 5 goblin warriors, which is probably the weakest unit, you can lose all the buildings in your base, simply because dwarves are impossible to defend with. They are too slow and they don't have good archers early in the game. But here Tyrion did make a fast counter attack and he did destroy Excal's spider pit, so this is a nice small win for Tyrion, since when your opponent is dwarves you definitely want to destroy your forge works, but when your opponent is goblins you definitely want to destroy his spider pit as well and not allow him to produce any spider riders, which obviously make a huge difference for goblins. And I think here things look very good for Excal. You can see he has 3 or 4 farms around the map, and he does have 3 goblin caves where Tyrion literally doesn't have any structures at all around the map, but he does have those 2 outposts that then generate extra resources, and he has also captured those 2 signal fires, which allow you to recharge your power points faster. And remember, with 2 of those signal fires being captured, your magics literally recharge a lot faster, around maybe 30% faster. So this is a big deal. I wouldn't let those buildings being captured for a long time if I was in Excal's place. And here Tyrion does capture the 3rd outpost as well, and you can see the 4th one has not yet been captured but has also been destroyed. So Tyrion must have a lot of resources right now. Actually both players have 1,000, but oh yes, Tyrion does have forge works. You can see how important this guy thinks that the forge works is for his game, and of course it is, since Excal is playing only with infantry units for now. But you can see how good he is spamming, and of course now Excal does have some spider riders, of course only 1 unit, but the point is that it will make a huge difference in his game when he will have 3 or 4 more units of spider riders. But I must admit, Tyrion is playing amazingly. It's always the hardest to play with dwarves in 1k, and he's doing a very nice job. He continues to recover and make his base again. And yes, here this statue was auto-built. This is a bug from the game and you can't delete it. You can see when I'm clicking on it, I'm seeing the Man of Dale. So this is a bug from the game. Tyrion didn't want that to happen, but he can destroy it as well. Anyway, of course Excal is targeting that scavenger, and he of course was correct choosing the scavenger as a 10 power point. I mean, he does have the bats to lower his opponent's leadership, and he also has the tainted land to gain leadership for his troops. But after that, the scavenger is a very important magic, since it gives you resources for every kill you make, and perhaps any buildings you destroy, I'm not sure. Let's see on that farm. Yes, you can see Excal did get 75 from destroying that farm. So it is probably the most important power point when you are playing with goblins, because if you do have money with goblins, you can pretty much make some very powerful units. And here another farm has been created by Tyrion with this bug. This bug does happen when there is some lag in the game. It has happened to me a lot of times. Most of the times I am able to destroy my buildings, but you can see here both those buildings by Tyrion cannot be destroyed. Perhaps this one now can be destroyed, maybe, I'm not sure. But anyway, so Tyrion does have his glowing right now. He will obviously make a huge difference in regards of Tyrion's offense. And Tyrion surprisingly has chosen the Men of Dale. I mean, I'm not surprised since I very rarely use this PowerPoint, the Men of Dale, but here Tyrion was facing a massive spam of goblins, so he did know that he was going to need those Men of Dale to protect his base from those goblins. Since goblins are very hard to kill by infantry units, but they are very easily killed by cavalry and archers. And you can see here Tyrion does have his King Dane, and he nearly lost him here by Excal, but he did use his heal, and his King Dane now is safe. And in the meantime, Tyrion is attacking Excal's base, but I'm not sure he can do a lot of damage since he has used his heal on King Dane, and his Glon is not yet level 4. So perhaps maybe he should have targeted Excal's spider pit to destroy just that building and then draw back his units and save them. But he obviously didn't have enough time. But Tyrion here plays very smart. He knows that when you reach late game with dwarves, you will want to have all 3 heroes together, and he has now 2 of them, 2 out of 3, and you can see he doesn't have many buildings in his base, so he literally chose to spend his money on his heroes rather than making a base first and some units perhaps. But he did know that his units will be the main power of his forces, so he did choose to make them very early in the game. And of course, the earlier you make them, the faster they will level up and they will become a lot stronger. Now I'm not sure if he will get Gimli as well, since he does cost 4,000, but I would definitely make my first fortress upgrade, since it only costs 500, and if you make it before you start recruiting your heroes, then you get a great discount, like 6, maybe 700 in total, so you do get the money you spent on that upgrade back, and also you get some nice leadership around your fort for your units. And Excal of course now has gained control of 2 out of 3 outposts. And I think Excal needs to start saving some money for his heroes as well. If he could get Drogoth here, this would be a game over for Tyrion, since he only has those Men of Dale from his PowerPoint, but this PowerPoint doesn't recharge very fast. It will be some time before he gets them back again, but here Tyrion uses his barrage on Excal's buildings, and he does have a very strong force, 4 units of guardians, and yes, here Excal does get his Drogoth in time, and he will be able to defend against that amount of force. Perhaps if Glowing was level 4 here, he would have definitely taken down Excal's fort, but maybe his fort is going down after all, and Excal decides not to try and defend, and he will try to attack Tyrion's base. Tyrion is making some towers in his fort, but Excal of course will target them first and he will destroy them, but again I'm not sure if he will manage to take down Tyrion's fort. Remember, Tyrion does have hill structure. Very nice play by Tyrion. He did gather a lot of guardians, because Excal did have a lot of spider riders, and I was surprised that he didn't attack with those Spider Riders on Sword. But Excal here is doing a lot of damage on Tyrion's fort, and Excal doesn't have, Tyrion doesn't have rebuild. Yes, he did use it to save one of his farms. Yes, I do remember now, he did use it on that farm, and look at how unfortunate that was, using your hill structure to save one farm and costing you your fortress. And I am amazed that Excal did click on Drogoth, and he did actually manage to make him before losing his fortress. I mean, Drogoth came like 5, maybe 6 seconds before his fort went down, and of course Drogoth does make a huge difference in the game because air units are a lot faster than ground units, and besides that, Tyrion doesn't have any cavalry units, so his infantry units are very slow, and I do believe that this is game over for Tyrion, since he only has that barrack left. And yes, game over for game over. Excal did win the match, but I do believe that that barrack we were seeing last was also the last building by Excal as well. I'm not sure if he had 2 builders. I think this was the only builder by Excal, and he was making that barrack. And since Glowing was probably above level 4, he could destroy that barrack with only 1 hit. So if it was Excal's last barrack, it was a close win, very close win actually, like 2 maybe 3 seconds late, and Tyrion could have won the game. Amazing game, good play by both of you guys. We did see a very close fight, and remember, Tyrion was dwarves. It's almost the hardest to play with dwarves in 1k, but Excal didn't give him any chance. He did play the correct way, and probably his best choice of the game, and the one that gave him the win, was recruiting Drogoth at a very precise moment. Remember, 3 or 4 seconds later, and he would have lost his fort, and he wouldn't have Drogoth, and then of course game was over for Excal. But very nice play and very nice choice. He knew exactly when he needed Drogoth, and of course he did save some money and recruit him. But also very nice play by Tyrion. Amazing play by dwarves actually. Good game for both of you guys. I enjoyed watching that replay, and I hope you guys did too. And yeah, more games coming soon, guys.